In this video on lead management within Microsoft Dynamics 365 for sales, we're going to build on the introduction we did in the previous video, where we walked through the basics of the functionality of leads. I'm going to try and give it a bit more context and really explain that functionality in terms of us processing a lead from sort of beginning to end. Now, this is one in a series we're doing specifically on leads. Now, if you want to see links to others in the series, you can see those below. Also, if you've got any suggested content ideas or you need any help with Microsoft Dynamics, please see the links below. So let's go to the system and let's give this a little bit of context. Let's say I'm the marketing manager of an organization. We've got our CRM system integrated into our website, so if anybody fills out the inquiries or contact us form, that pushes that submission into the system as a lead. Equally, we're doing some advertising on Google or LinkedIn or Facebook. We've got specific landing pages that we've developed, and anytime somebody fills out a form on a landing page, that's going to push that lead into the CRM system. Now, my job as a marketing manager will be to monitor for incoming leads and to sort of process them accordingly. Now, in order to do that, I'm in the leads area. I might typically use a view. So the view I'm in at the moment is open leads. So effectively, any leads that haven't yet been processed. I've got other views, system views at my disposal. I can create personal views if I need to look at other aspects of that data, but I'm happy with open leads at the moment. So I can monitor this list, and I've got a couple of leads here that have just come in that I can process. The alternative way of looking at leads would be to use something like dashboards. So I've got, if I open the dashboard here, I've got a leads dashboard. I can switch that view into a tile view. I can make that a bit more visual with a visual filter as well, if that's of use. It's really down to you how you want to monitor these leads coming in. If I want to click on that, I can see what those leads are, for example. I'm going to go to the view. It probably works best for me, and I'm going to try and process these two new leads that have come in. Now, one of them is promisingly called Donald Duck. Strong suspicion that's a spam lead. So what I can do is open that record. I look at it. As I said, I created these as test data. All the data in the system, by the way, is Microsoft's out-of-the-box test data. And you can see the topic is, this is a spam lead, and it's Donald Duck. So there's no other information there. I'm pretty sure that that's spam. I don't want that going into my CRM system, so I'm going to disqualify it. And when I disqualify it, it will prompt me to give a reason for disqualification. We can change what those reasons are, but I'm just going to select cancelled. So it's now telling me my lead was disqualified successfully. If I go back to my leads area now, my open leads area, that is gone. That is processed. That will now appear in my closed leads area as a disqualified lead. I processed that one. I've done what I needed to do. Now I've got another one here called from Bob Jones topic. This is a real lead, so a bit of a clue there. Let's open that up. And I've now got some data that for me to review. I can see it's Bob Jones. Bob Jones, the director of Made Up Company. Haven't got a lot of information there. I have got a postcode, so if I wanted to use the mapping function, I'll just click on that, and that will just take me to where that business is located. If that's of use, I'll just close that down. If there's a website, I could click on that and go to the website, but that hasn't been filled out. I got a who knows whom area here, so if the system will surface if it knows of any known relationship, perhaps with other colleagues with this particular lead, which might give me some clues. So it's making me believe this is a valid lead. In terms of processing it, I've got this process bar at the top here, and I can go to that, click on the button here, and it's going to tell me the steps that it wants me to take in order to process these leads. Now, obviously, this is completely configurable to your processes, and the example we're giving here is quite a basic use case, and for many people it's going to be a lot more sophisticated, with potentially the need to review leads for multiple different business units, different product sets, route them out to the right people. So that may end up being a much more involved process. But the key thing here is we do need to establish that this contact doesn't exist in the system already. If it does, we can link to them. So we've got Bob Jones here, and if I start typing in Bob Jones, I've got Bob Smith, but no Bob Jones, so no records found. So I'm comfortable that Bob Jones doesn't exist. I said if it did, I could just link to Bob Jones, and it will add the lead to Bob Jones's existing record, but he doesn't exist. And does Made Up Company exist as an organization? So let's type that in. So nothing's coming up as I type that in, so I'm confident Made Up Company doesn't come in. Now, it's given me a number of other fields that it wants me to fill out: purchase time frame, estimated budget, purchase process. Again, out of the box field, not necessarily what your qualification process might entail, but that's all configurable in the system. I probably don't know enough information to fill that out at this stage based on the form, so I might create an email and send that out. So I've got a sort of activity tracking area within the leads form, so I might send an email out to Bob Jones, perhaps asking a bit more information and responding to their inquiry. I might set up a phone call, for example, and track that phone conversation. So based on those activities, which I might track against the lead record, I might now have enough information to fill out my qualification questions. Now, these can be made mandatory. In other words, I can't qualify it until those are filled out. These ones aren't mandatory at the moment, but that is an option you've got in terms of configuring the system. And let's say purchase timeline is going to be immediate. The estimated budget is going to be 10,000. The purchase process is individual. We've got the decision, we've identified the decision maker, and I've put some proper words in this, but my typing is pretty slow, so let's just put a few random characters in there. And that's captured the information that's required for qualification. So I now feel I can qualify it. And to qualify it, all I need to do is go to the top bar here, click qualify, and what it's saying to me is I'm going to qualify this lead. I'm going to create a new account record called Made Up Company. I'm going to create a new contact called Bob Jones. It'll be linked to Made Up Company, and I'm going to create a new opportunity for this. Now, the way this is set up out of the box is it's sort of automatically creating the opportunity. I can set it up so that becomes an optional bit. I may or may not want to create an opportunity at this stage. I might want the contact and the account in the system, but I may not want the opportunity in at this stage. It might be too early for that. Right, I'm now going to qualify that. It's just saying we're creating this account, creating this contact, we're creating this opportunity. If I finish that up, I can now go to my leads if I wanted to. That's my open leads area. You can see that lead that's just come in has now been processed, and they will have created the relevant contact. So if I look for Bob, search system, there we go, there's Bob Jones and Made Up Company. And if I go to related, we should be able to see the opportunity that we've just created by converting that lead, which we can do. So that's a sort of quick work through how that lead management process might work as a sort of worked example, a very basic worked example. Obviously, your complex may be a lot more sophisticated, might have a lot more working parts, and it would need to be tailored for your particular organization's requirements. But that's something that can be configured into the system. Now, hopefully it gives you a sort of flavor of how that all works. As I say, this is one in a series we're doing specifically on leads. You can see links to others in the series below. Also, if you've got any suggested content ideas or you need any help in Microsoft Dynamics, please see the links below. Anyway, thank you very much for your time today, and hopefully see you again soon.